Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about one of the craziest comebacks I've ever seen in Scrabble. Now, this game I actually had the privilege of watching live. I was commentating for this game as it was played back in 2020, right after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was the online high school players championship, and it was played between two very strong players, Jem Birch and Chloe Fatsis. Now, in this game, Jem is in dominant position. He just bingoed for 78 with the word explore to take a 160-point lead by a score of 378 to 218. Chloe's got a fairly promising bingo rack of DEINRRS, but unfortunately there are no 7-letter words on that rack, and there really wouldn't even be a great place on this board to play one, even if she did have one. Because if we look over here, on the right-hand side of the board, it's all closed off. OY doesn't take an S or any other hooks, so Chloe is not going to be able to bingo over here. And similarly on top, NE takes a front A or O, but there's no A's left, and Chloe doesn't have an O, so she'd need to draw one of the O's in the unseen pool if she wanted to bingo here, which still wouldn't be very easy to do. And besides that, there really isn't much to work with. She could conceivably get an 8-letter word on column B, but she'd have to end in a U, which is super difficult to do. And the only other potential place where you could conceivably even play bingo would be maybe down below on like the 14 row with a 9-letter word through either the F and the E or the E and the C. Or maybe on the 15 row with a 9-letter word through the D and the Y. Now, not only is it super hard to bingo, one bingo isn't going to be enough for Chloe, given she's down 160 points. Even if she bingos for like 80 or 90, which would be a pretty high-scoring bingo, she's still going to be down probably another 100 points after Jem's next turn. So she's going to need, at the minimum, 2 very high-scoring bingos, if not 3 bingos. So on a board where 1 bingo is hard enough, just imagine how hard it's going to be to get 2 or even 3 bingos down. So this position seems completely hopeless for Chloe. And there really doesn't seem like there's many good options. She could maybe try to fish off an R over here above Explore with RE to try to open another line. That would be one option you could think about. But the problem is it only scores 2 points. And while it keeps such a strong lead, again, a bingo alone isn't going to be enough, and it's pretty easy for Jem to block as well. So options like this were not appealing to Chloe, and instead she finds the really brilliant idea of playing Rediscern through the E and the C disconnected on the 14th row that I was mentioning earlier. Now, here's the catch. Rediscern is not a valid word. However, it's very similar to a lot of valid words, as discerner is valid, as is rescinder. Those are both valid anagrams of rediscern. And most players don't study 9-letter words other than the very top players, so it's very reasonable to expect that it's going to be quite difficult for Jem to have the confidence to challenge this off. And it also puts Jem in a little bit of a tough spot, because even after Rediscern, he's still got a 78-point lead. So given he's got a strong rack and can score another 30 points, he's probably more comfortable letting this stay on the board and holding on to his 100-point lead than taking the risk of challenging this and then having Chloe potentially bingo right back and catapult herself right back into this game. So that's exactly what happens here. Chloe plays Rediscern, Jem decides to let it stay on the board, and he's got a very strong rack here, which does make several 7-letter words. It makes limiest, limities, and elitism. However, none of them are going to play on this board. So Jem decides to play MI over here for 30 points under the EX and Explore, and this is a very good play, or what seems to be a very good play on the surface, as it scores quite well, and it gets rid of his duplicate I and keeps EILST, which is an extremely strong bingo lead. However, the problem is that Chloe's play of Rediscern not only scored a lot of points, but it also opened up this really potent bingo line on column O, which I'm highlighting in red right here. And the reason why this line is so potent is if Chloe is able to cover both of these red squares, both of these triple word scores, she's going to get 9 times the value for her bingo, which will result in an absolutely massive score after adding the 50-point bonus for playing all her tiles. So while Jem's play here is very strong, it leaves this line open, and, well, let's just say Chloe takes full advantage of that on her next turn. So she pulls these tiles out of the bag, EEGHILW. And I'll stall for a couple seconds here. Let's see if the viewers can figure out what Chloe played next in this position. So for those of you who found it, nicely done. And for those of you who just want to see, the correct answer is wheeling for 194 points. And this gets a very well-deserved WTF reaction from Chloe in the comments. And I'll post on screen here. I was commentating live this game along with two other top players, Jackson Smiley and Will Anderson. And we were both basically having the same exact reaction as Chloe had. Like I said, I'll post it here. There's a really funny screenshot that somebody took of all of our reactions at the same time on camera. And yeah, I mean, you sort of had to be there, but hopefully this picture gives you just some idea of how absolutely mind-blown we all were, because this is just unlike anything you'll ever see. I mean, within the span of 2 plays, Chloe goes from down 160 points to going up 82 points. So that's a 242-point swing in 2 plays. Once again, you guys heard that right. A 242-point swing in 2 plays on a board that seemed completely dead. Just absolutely unbelievable stuff. And wheeling is, of course, a valid word. There's now nothing more really for Jem to do here. He does have violets and loveliest as 7-letter words on this rack, but neither of them are going to play. And there's really no remaining places for him to score a ton of points. The game ultimately ends with Jem playing vols over here for 33. Chloe plays got, and then Jem goes out with it, and the game ends with a final score of 511 to 459 in Chloe's favor. And once again, guys, let's just remind ourselves where we were a few turns ago. So right before Chloe played Rediscern, it was 378 to 218 Jem. And the game ends just a couple turns later with 511 to 459 Chloe. So Chloe more than doubles her score in just a couple of turns on a completely dead board. Absolutely insane stuff. And yeah, I mean, what else is there to say here, guys? This is definitely one of the most ridiculous comebacks I've ever seen on any game, and certainly the most ridiculous comeback by far I've ever actually watched happen live over a board. So yeah, really insane stuff. Props to Chloe on coming up with this really clever idea of phoneing with Rediscern. Super tricky to spot even that idea in the first place, let alone to actually come up with a word so plausible that it would stay on the board. And then what a amazing stroke of, I mean, both luck and genius to draw wheeling out of the bag. I mean, of course, there is a little bit of luck involved, right, to pull those exact 7 tiles to draw the triple, but still absolute genius to even set herself up for such a position. So amazing stuff. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other crazy comebacks that you've seen that you think might rival this one in terms of craziness, definitely feel free to send them along my way, and I will be happy to take a look and make more videos. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and found this comeback just as impressive as we all did when we were commentating. Have a good one, guys. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.